Hello and good afternoon or good morning, depending on when you're watching this. So this is our tutorial for the 3D tool number 1, Extrude. This tool has a whole bunch of cool stuff. It's really probably the most commonly used tool, and it's probably the most important for that reason. And we're going to make 4 parts here, and each of these are actually fairly easy. But if this is your first time, it might be kind of hard. So anyway, we're going to assume this is your first time. Go File, New, create a new part. Here we go. So I'm just going to make sure this is working. Yep, looks like it's recording. So I'm going to start a 2D sketch, and I'm going to start on my ground plane right here. And it looks like we make a little button here, and it's 2 by 2 with a circle in the middle that goes. It's 1 inch and 1 inch from the side, and it has a diameter of 1.5, and each extrusion is 0.375 inches. So I'm going to start with a rectangle. I'm going to come down here and use my 2-point center and make this 2 by 2. 2, tab 2, enter. Awesome. And then I'm also going to add my circle right here in the middle and make it 1.5 and enter. So finish sketch. So I've got both of these profiles ready to go, and I'm going to do them one at a time. So I'm going to click Extrude right here. I'm going to highlight the whole thing. I'm going to actually make it go the other way. I'm going to flip the direction so it goes down. So I flip that right here. So it's going down. And I want it to go 0.375 or 3/8 of an inch, and I'll hit enter. So notice that when I hit enter, the sketch disappeared. I can bring that back. If I go over here to the plus button, I can bring it back by right-clicking on sketch 1. Or, sorry, let me show you that again. Went over to extrusion 1 on the model browser, hit the plus, right-click on sketch, and then turn on visibility or share sketch. Either way will bring it back. And then I can extrude the button part right here. Let's say, for example, I accidentally clicked the whole thing and I didn't want to. I can deselect parts of an extrusion by holding the Shift key. And now I've got this little minus button, and I can say I want to get rid of that part right there. And it looks good, and I click OK. And voila, I've got my button. So I can get rid of the sketch now over here by right-clicking and saying visibility, home button. There it is. Okay, so last little bit is I can go over here, right-click on part, go to properties, physical, and then click update, and that will tell me the actual volume that I'm going to enter. So back in the assignment, I can enter in the volume and figure out exactly how big it's supposed to, and get credit for it. Okay, so the second object is this cool looking cube thing, and this is also 2 by 2, and it's actually pretty similar, except it's a cube rather than a button. So I'm going to say File, New, Start, Create. By similar, I mean the dimensions are similar. And I'm going to click here, and I'm going to just start drawing a cube shape. So draw a square first. 2, tab 2, enter. And then finish. And I will extrude this 2 inches again. Awesome. So now I just got to make 3 cylinders or 3 circles that turn into the cylinders that cut through this cube. So I'm going to go over here to Start 2D Sketch and click any one of these 3 sides, top, front, or the right. I'm going to go over to the top for this one. And I'm just going to draw a circle. Just click there in the middle, type 1.5, hit enter, click Finish Sketch, extrude, and then I can click and drag on this and pull it down through that way. That's one way to do it. And then it'll turn red, and it will just it'll delete stuff instead of add it. Click OK. And there it goes. I can do the same thing on the other sides. So I start to sketch here. I start a circle, and this one doesn't snap to the center as easily, so I have to be a little careful. There we go. That one snapped to the middle. Notice how I kind of floated on the edge there, and it showed me as a guide kind of where to find the center mark. Click there, extrude. An alternate way here is just to flip the direction and to say through all. That automatically says like, hey, I'll go until there's no more to cut. Click OK. Do this last one right here, sketch. I'm going to find the center mark, and notice there's some geometry that's flashing through here. What that is it's these lines are being projected through here, just to help me find the center. 1.5, enter. Finish sketch, extrude, and I'm going to cut through it all the way. Click OK. And there it is. So I can revolve this around and look how cool that is. It's pretty awesome. Wanted to change the material. Let's try like expanded metal. Ooh, that looks crazy. Maybe gold. Nope, didn't do it. So, kind of cool. Anyway, that's the cube. So I can go over here, right click, Eye Properties, Physical, and then I'm going to click Update. The answer will come up right here in Volume. Okay. Alrighty. So that's the cube. Next, I'm going to move on to the little table. So this one's pretty simple, and it's tiny. It's a little tiny dollhouse table. Looks like it's 1 by 2. So I'm going to start a new sketch, File, New, Start Part, New Part, and then start a new sketch. Start from the top down. I'm going to rotate my view so it looks like that. Center point rectangle, and it goes 1, tab, 2, enter, like that. I'll say finish, and now I can extrude this. Looks like 1/4 of an inch. So I'll say extrude 0.25, enter. Awesome. And then I can do the legs. So if I go under here and look underneath, start a 2D sketch here, I can put in these legs, and I'm just going to kind of guess. I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to make a tangent at least on one of the sides. So, right there, that's good. Do the same thing here. I don't know if that's quite tangent. Do the same thing right here, and right here. Cool. And I'm going to make all of these equal using my equal constraint tool. So equal, boom, boom. I'm going to make all of these equal to this one right here. Doesn't really matter which one you choose, but I just like that one. I'm going to make all of these edges tangent. Oh, it already exists, so I can skip that. Tangent here, tangent there, tangent here, tangent, 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 and tangent. Okay, great. So all of those are now tangent. And the cool thing is if I change just one of these, all of them will be the same. So if I go 0.25, enter, nice. They all sized up together because the equal constraint is set up. All right. Whoops. And now this has got to extrude. Looks like 1 inch. Yeah. So I'm going to go extrude or finish. Extrude, and I'm just going to highlight those spots. Boom, 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 boom. Go 1 inch, and okay. There it is. My tiny table. So again, I can find the volume by right-clicking here, Eye Properties, Physical, and then when I click Update, the correct answer will show up right there. Cool. All right. Moving on to the weird hinge. So this one honestly is not something we would usually see or make. It's just a good practice item. It has this slanted surface right here. So I'm going to start a new sketch, new part, and then a new sketch. File, new part, create. And this one I'm going to do it from the XY plane, so the side over. And I'm going to use the regular rectangle, the 2-point rectangle, and I'm going to make it its overall size first. So it's 3 by 2. So I'm going to come up here and type in 3, tab 2, enter. Nice. And then I'm just going to make an approximation of what that looks like. So it kind of comes down, over, and up. I'm going to start up here, come down, over, and up. So that definitely isn't right, so I'm just going to have to add in these things here to make that so. So this should be 0.25. From here to here, it's 0.25. And then from this point to this line is also 0.25. Enter. Cool. I'm just going to move these up a little bit so you can see this a little better. Good. And now everything should pretty much be set. So I'm going to say finish sketch. Now I'm going to extrude, and I don't want to extrude the whole thing. I just want this section of it. It's going to go 2 inches. Click enter. Voila, we've got it. So now I'm going to do some tricky stuff. I need to be able to sketch on this surface right here and go all the way over and extrude into this surface without going too far. So there's a couple of different ways to do this, but I'm going to show you my favorite. So in here, it looks like it is 3/4 of an inch in diameter, 1 inch from the center, or from the edge to be in the center, and then 1/2 inch from the top. So I'll go back to Inventor, and I'm going to start a 2D sketch right here. And notice I've got a problem. I can't see my sketch. If I come in here and I draw my cylinder, 0.75, enter, it kind of disappears on me. So it's there, it's just hidden behind this face that's blocking. So I can go through here and find this manually, or just by rotating the view a little bit, like that, 0.5, and look at it. Or another way is to go to the View tab and change my visual style to wireframe. So now I can see through it. I can see kind of where it is relative to this side, so that's a pretty useful feature. So I'm going to go from here to here. It should be 1 inch. 1, enter. Hit finish. And there it is. I can change my view back to normal. Let's go back to shaded with edges. And I can do my extrusion. So I'm going to say 3D model, extrude. And now I need to figure out how far forward I needed this to go. And I want it to go all the way through here. And so I could drop it right there. That's one way to do it. But sometimes you'll get situations where the edge will stick out, like how maybe this is kind of sticking out right there. Or I can just use this option instead that says to, and it's asking to what surface. So I can go over here and just click the surface, and it will just make it stick onto that one. That's really useful for curved surfaces. You'll see that quite a bit in the future. So I say OK, and that's it. So I'm done. So I can go up here to part 17 or part whatever. Yours is probably part 4. And I'll say my properties, physical, hit update, and your correct answer will show up right there. OK, that's a wrap, folks.